Peace and love, my creative minds. We're here with another video, and this one is a paint with me. Before we do that, we're going to swatch these new paints that I just got and see how much we like them. We're going to test them on hot press watercolor paper, and we're going to test them on cold press watercolor paper. I will get into what that is while we're swatching. The colors that I got, this one is an earth color watercolor set, so it has Naples yellow, transparent brown oxide, a Venetian red, sap green, indigo, and raw umber. And then the colors are down here. They're 5 milliliters each. And then we have the 12th set, which is an introductory one, which basically gives you a lot of colors that you can mix and make new colors with. I'm hoping. This is what I think in theory, but like I said, we're going to try it out together, so we'll see. The colors that come in here are Nickel Azo Yellow, Hansa Yellow Light, Quinacridone Gold Deep, Pyro Red Light, Quinacridone Magenta, Permanent Alizarin Crimson, Phthalo Blue, Ultramarine Blue, Viridian Green, Yellow Ochre, Burnt Sienna, and Payne's Gray. Sorry if I butchered that, guys, but that's as good as that's gonna get, and I probably won't say that name of that color again, don't worry. And then again, down here it shows the colors that you're gonna get, and they're 5 milliliters as well. The reason why you want to do swatching instead of just going by the colors that are here is because sometimes the paper that you're using, the colors can be lighter, they can show up darker. You really don't want to chance you going for a color thinking it's one color and then finding it's a totally different hue than what you thought it was going to be. So without further ado, let's swatch. Okay guys, we're ready. And I'm going to, hold on a second. Gotta get my guy ready. For any of you Masters of the Universe fans, we all know who that guy is. Okay. Now, this paper here, this is hot pressed. I'm gonna write it down so that I know in the future when I'm checking my swatches what is what, because sometimes you can get confused, although you really can tell the difference if you look closely. The hot press, it doesn't really have much grain to it. There's no texture. It's nice and flat, and a better surface to work on sometimes, because sometimes you want that extra, it's called tooth, sometimes you want that extra tooth, and that's when you reach for the cold press. Cold press. Okay. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take these bad boys out, and we're going to just put a little dab in these circles. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to fast forward it because I don't want to bore you with that. Be right back. Okay, and with the power of editing, boom, we're all ready to get started. Okay, first off, what do we need? We need the papers, of course, to swatch. We need a cleaning jar. This is the water we're going to use to clean our paintbrush. And then we're going to use this right here to wet our paintbrush. You don't want to wet your paintbrush with dirty water because then you won't get the right color, the true color from the swatch. And that's the whole point of swatching. You want to get the true color. So we're going to start with nickel azo yellow. And if I'm saying that wrong, I'm sorry, guys. So what I'm going to do is this is a lot for watercolor. You don't need that much. But the best thing with watercolor is if you don't use it all, you leave it there and it dries out and you can use it for later. So don't throw out, basically. Don't throw out your watercolor. All right, so first we're going to put some on the side there, and then we're going to see how much it can drag on, if it has nice drag to it, a nice pull to the color, which it's really pretty. It's really, really pretty. I like that. Okay, so we'll clean our paintbrush, dry our paintbrush a little bit on a paper towel. Okay, now we're gonna go to Hansa Yellow Light. Oh, we need to wet it a little bit more. Okay, Hansa Yellow Light. So I'm curious to know how many people in the comments, you tell me, how many people know who's on the top of my pen? Who's that guy right there? You get a no prize if you guess it right. You get a big fat no prize. All right, so now I'm wetting my paintbrush again, and I'm just going to drag it to see how much it's going to move along. And now the quinacridone deep. Let's wet it a little bit. Oh, look at that color. Oh my God. That's nice. Let's give it a little drag. Okay. You don't want too much water on your paintbrush. You just want enough so that you can drag some down. I feel like I did this color an injustice, or maybe that's just how light it is. This one is, well, Pyro Red Light. Maybe I should pay attention to what I'm doing. Okay, so now we're going into quinacridone Magenta. And you see the separation here that happened? You see that separation that's going on right there? Right here? That's okay. If you see that in your watercolor, don't like freak out that you have bad watercolor. That's just the binder that keeps the ingredients all together. It's separated. So you mix it in together and you're fine. That's it. Not a big deal. Just gonna wet it a little bit more. Oh, that's cute. I like that. So that is the set of 12 that I just swatched, and I'm going to move those to the side, and I'm going to do the set of 6. Maybe I should put more teeth. First I'm going to do the hot press paper, and then I'm going to do the cold press paper, and you're going to see, I think instantly you're going to realize the difference between these swatches and the other swatches. So let's get into it. Oh my God, this is all messed up. All right, let's just put it down. Let's just put it down, because what are we gonna do right now? Cry about it? No. And I'm not gonna waste a paper, a swatch, or ink, I'm sorry, paint, because I messed up. You won't get me next time, buddy. Okay, so I'm waiting for these to dry to fix that, but boom, like it never happened. You saw nothing. You saw nothing. Okay, so now, and I have to turn it like that. No, like that. I don't know how I did that. Okay. So now, Umber. And then this one is I don't remember. Transparent brown oxide. Okay, since you're moving off of the so there we go. We have our hot pressed swatch, and now we're going to go into our cold press swatch. If you only paint in one type of watercolor, then this is pointless. You don't need to do this. But I sometimes use hot press. I sometimes use cold press. So this works for me. See how that dries. So already, if you can see, I'll do this one and I'll show you the texture difference. This is Hansa yellow white. So you see the texture difference in this and that. There's like no grain whatsoever. It's smooth. And then when you come to the cold press, that's what you're going to find on a cold press. So I wish somebody told me that that was one of the big differences between hot press and cold press, because maybe I wouldn't have expected certain things to happen on one paper as opposed to the other. For example, I watch a artist, her name is Casey Golden, and she uses hot press paper. And whenever I did my art, although not copying her, but when I did my art, and the smoothness was not as smooth as her art, I thought I was doing something wrong. And I had no idea. Number one, that there were different papers, watercolor style papers, but how many there, you know, how many different ones there were, or how to use them with my art. It's important. It's important to know that stuff, because then you can at least know that you didn't fail. Because I felt, I didn't feel like a failure, but I felt like I did something wrong. Okay, so here's the Pyro Red Light. Wet it with some clean water. I don't know why I did this so long. That's okay. To do that. You ever like have colors that you think are just so pretty, but when it comes to like them being introduced into your art, you're like, that does not fit anywhere in my art. Like, it doesn't go. That's how I feel about quinacridone magenta. I can't even say it, but that's how I feel about that color. Like, that color is so pretty. I like it a lot. But when am I going to use this in my art? I don't know. Maybe as an accent? I don't know. Maybe mixing it into a different color. But as like the main color, I'm not sure I would ever use it in my art. But I like it. Should challenge myself to use it in art. Well, no. I don't know if that'd be fun. And at the end of the day, that's why I do this. To have fun. This is my little private meditation time. So I was thinking about this, and I am curious. Out of these colors, which one's your favorite? Out of these colors here, do you have a favorite? I guess I should ask, because I can't just be like, oh, you have a favorite color and they're in here. No. So out of these colors that are on both pages, which one's your favorite? And can you guess mine? That's the question. I will let you guys comment, and I will leave my comment in a day of what my favorite color is and see who got it right. I'm curious. That's a nice skin tone. I like that. Or something on my page, and it's weird because I wasn't erasing anything, so why do I have that? I don't know. It's a good tip. Like if you have any debris on your paper, get a dry brush and just like brush it off like that. Because if you try to do something with your hands, you might end up ruining your paper, and you don't want that. You don't want to mess up your painting. See, the liftability of the sap green is not great. It's like I just put that down on the paper. I should be able to at least lift it so that you don't see the separation. Like it's a nice transition. And this one is not doing that. You can see the hard line on it. You have to take that into consideration when you're painting as well, that your lines are going to be seen in with some colors. That's absolutely the reason why you do stuff like this. That's why you do swatching. You know how to handle the paint. And I wouldn't say there's no surprises, but there's less surprises when you do it like that, you know, when you do a swatching. See that? See that transition there? There's no line. Maybe it's the way I swatched it. I'll try it again. All right, raw umber. My least favorite color, raw umber. I don't like it, but if I'm, like I said, if I'm doing dirt, this is gonna be the color I'm gonna go to. Or shadows, even dark shadows, I'll probably use that color. Let's see. There you go. Okay, so now we have our swatches, and I think, although I really like the tooth on the cold press watercolor paper, I think I'm gonna go with the hot press for what we're gonna do as far as art is concerned. With watercolor paper, there's so many different types that you can like get, so you really have to get some practice sheets, buy the inexpensive stuff, see what you like. The paper I'm using right now is very inexpensive, and I actually buy it in bulk, both the hot press and the cold press. I buy it in this pad right here, and it's Fabriano Studio Watercolor. This one is 25% cotton. You can get 100% cotton watercolor paper. It's 140 pounds, 300 GSM. It's the 9x12, but I cut them down. The reason why I get 25% cotton is because it's less expensive. It really is. And for what the art that I do, this is not going up in a gallery. I don't need the best paper. But there is better paper out there, but this works. This is just fine for me. I don't see any need for anything more. Now, when you're taking off any tape after doing watercolor, you want to make sure your painting, number one, is dry, and you also want to make sure that you don't rip your painting, because that's the last thing you want once you're done with your art, for you to rip up your painting. So here are the hot pressed colors, and here are the cold press colors. Look at that texture. All right, so for this one, I'm going to use hot press. So I'm going to keep this out in front of me, and I'm going to put this one away. And also, I am just going to keep using what I have here. I don't need to add more. Now, as far as the art is concerned, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I do know that I was really having a blast doing art with my colored pencils. So I'm so gonna just continue doing the sketch with a colored pencil. And the best thing with sketching in colored pencil is that you really don't have to worry about the lines being too harsh or anything, because you're going to paint over it, and although it's watercolor, you're going to paint over it and it's going to get covered. You won't see it. So I'm going to tape my paper down. Okay. So yesterday I was just doing random doodles of little chickies, and I think today I want to continue doing that. So I'm gonna do a portrait of a cute little chickie, and yeah, and I was having so much fun just loosely just putting that stuff on the paper that I think I'm just gonna do it like that today too. See where it takes us. I don't like her ear there. I want her face to be I know where my eraser is today, huh? There we go. Erase as well. Okay. Oh, another good tip is as far as the hot press is concerned, you don't have to worry about it, but when it's the cold press paper, you really don't want to erase very hard on the cold press paper, because the tooth that is on there is what gives sucks up the water and all the different pigments, and if there's not enough tooth because you pushed it down, then it's not going to be even. The pigment won't be even when you lay it down. So I say just be careful when you're putting stuff down. Alright, so first, what we're going to do is we're going to get a bigger brush. So right here, I'm going to use a size 10 artist brush. I kind of don't know if yeah, I do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just wet the paper, just making sure that it's down good. I'm going to wet the paper, and I'm going to go around her face. I'm not going to go on her face area. Just going to wet around her face. I'm not ready for her face yet. So I'm just putting water here, and this is called a wet on wet approach. So I'm just going to wet everywhere except her face. And once I'm done doing that, I am going to take a color, and I'm going to get my paintbrush really good with it. Maybe I'll put this over here so you can see me going into the watercolor. Yeah, okay. All right, and then now I have a lot of paint on this, but it's going on the entire page. Now I don't need any more paint, but what I am going to do is get more water and get her hair and the rest of her the wet area with paint. Now when you're doing the wet on wet, you always want to make sure that you're moving quickly so your paper doesn't dry, and then you're stuck with not uneven, because when you're doing watercolor, let's just be honest, you're gonna have unevenness, and that's the charm to it. But you don't want the water on the paper to dry up before you're done with the placement, you know? So I'm gonna leave that part a little open, because I think I want her neck to show a little. Okay. Okay. Trust the process. You gotta trust the process. Okay, so now I'm gonna let that dry. And I'm going to go in with another color. I'm gonna make sure that there's no blue on my paintbrush. If you look at that, there's still some blue on my paintbrush. So just gonna give it a good talking to. Cleaning, more like it. And that's good. Okay, I'm just gonna set this paintbrush on the side here. And I'm gonna go in, I'm actually gonna go in with a different paintbrush. I'm not gonna use this one. This is the one I used for the swatches, which is a Acro size 1. I'm gonna go in with a slightly larger, I think this is a size 8. I would rather a 6. See the difference in that? But this is the size I want, so I'm gonna say size 8, but I was looking for a size 6. All right, and then I'm gonna refer to my swatches, and I'm gonna see that the transparent brown oxide is, or the burnt sienna. Those are the colors I kind of want for my skin. So we're gonna go with that. I'm just gonna put a little bit of water in some areas, and then I'm gonna go in with a little bit, not like I'm getting on the sides of it. I'm going in with the magenta. I don't want much. And I'm gonna get her nose and areas. Oh, and you don't want to, I'm trying to stay in the lines, so you should too. if you want to. If you don't, that's cool. Okay. So now that I've got her a little bit of pink in her skin, I'm gonna go in with the I'm gonna start with the transparent brown oxide, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it. That's in the other one, sorry. I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna move it over here. And I think I want to add a little bit of yellow to that. So I'm taking some yellow ochre just to darken it up a little bit. Okay, a little bit of water. Okay, and then we're gonna go and I think I want to put more, because this is that time where you're mixing colors and you're making a new color. You know, let me try, what is that? That Naples yellow? I think that's Naples yellow. Let's see how that does. Okay, then I'm gonna bring in a little bit of water, and then I'm gonna put it on her face. Now, when you have all this watercolor on your paintbrush, you don't want to leave any puddles sitting. And hopefully I don't show you from my mistake, but we'll see. So just move the water from the most wet point and just spread it like that. And you want to keep the paper, you want to keep it wet, because if it dries and you're not done with the initial pass, it's going to be so uneven. Okay. So now that I have it all spread out, I'm going to go, like, just try to touch it up and move it where, you know, with the paint where I want it to go. And you see how I've gotten in some of the hair area. That's okay, because that's not going to be her hair initially. It's going to change. So now we're going to leave this part alone. And this area is still a little wet, and you want it to be dry when you're working with it. But I'm gonna move on and do her hair anyway. So right now I'm just outlining her hair. And this is a process right here. This the hair is definitely a process that you have to be patient with, and you take your time. Now I have to be careful that I don't get my paintbrush in wet areas of the skin color, because it will want to hang out and then muddy your colors. And what do I mean by muddy? The blue is going to turn into a muddy color, pretty much. They're not gonna play well. So you see how I got some of that in there, but it didn't touch any of the wet spots. So crisis averted on that one. Okay. And now this one is the indigo that I'm using now for the hair. The outside of the picture is going to stay Payne's gray. Her hair is so cute. Oh my God. I just love it. Oh my God. Okay. And for the future, I will not be using this pencil. Some pencils are wax based. Some, well, they're both wax and, what is it? Wax and something else. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. But they have two different types of pencils, and all pencils have both things in it, but one might have more than the other. So in this case, this one definitely has more wax in it, and I can't use this for the next time, because if I do, you see how the water is fighting to go there, and I don't like that. I'll fix that. I'll figure out a way to fix it. Okay, so now we're gonna work on her hair, her eyebrows, her eyes, her mouth, and her nose. And we're gonna take the number 1, and we're gonna just start with a little bit of pink. What is that? Sorry, magenta, quinacridone magenta. So you see how dark that is right now? It's gonna lighten up, and I'm going to help it along by just blending it out, making sure that I don't touch the indigo that I put down. But I also want to shade here so that there's so that there's a clear difference between her neck and her chin. All right, so I'm gonna go in now, and I'm going to add some Payne's Gray to this pink, and then I'm going to throw in some, I think I want to throw this in. Just trying to get a darker color than I already have. No, not a green, but a darker color. Let's see. Now what I'm gonna do here, hopefully it's good enough. If not, we'll just try to figure it out. It's more of a purple. Okay. Now we're going to go and give her some eyebrows. And there's way too much water on this paintbrush, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just dab it on my paper towel. And fix it. She gonna have thick eyebrows, that's all. That's okay. And with the same paint on the paintbrush, I'm going to just start carving out her eyes. I like that. And then here, I think I want to like bring it down a little bit more, just to cover these lines. And I don't like these harsh lines here, so I'm gonna try to soften them up with what I have on my paintbrush. And then I don't like what's going on there. I don't like it at all. I don't know what's going on there. So I'm gonna try to fix it with a little bit of her skin tone. I need to move her mouth. I think that'll work. I move her mouth. I'll wait for that to dry. I gotta wait until that dries, so we're gonna move on to the eyes. And I think I'm gonna do Viridian green. And then I just realized this is the only green that we have. Besides sap green, for the bottom of the lip, I'm gonna leave it light like that. Okay, so now I'm just going to give her some curls, and I'm going to clean up some edges. This is too shiny. I don't like the way that looks. I think I'm going to use different pencils. Like that one. So what I did here was I picked out some pencils and I swatched them before I picked them out. I was going to use these pencils, but I don't like the way they look on the paper. There's too much shine. So I'm going to see if these are any better. Well, I think I'm going to go in a different direction. Completely in a different direction. And I'm going to whip out my big boy. And I'm going to just probably completely ruin this. Okay. Move this out of the way. Also, when you're doing, when you're painting with watercolor, pencil, whatever it is, don't think that that's the only medium that you're able to use. Like, don't limit yourself, and don't be afraid to try something different or add something more. Okay, well, what do we think? I mean, let's take off the tape and see what we have. All right, let's see what we got. Let's end it with the first track that I had. Okay. Well, it's not my best. It's not my best. I will say that. I'm gonna have to keep practicing with these watercolors, but I mean, it's okay. It's okay. I'm just gonna clean this up a little bit. All right. Okay, so this is what we got after, I'm not even gonna tell you how long this took, but I think it came out okay. There's a lot of wonkiness going on. I guess that's a way to put it nicely, but I don't know. It's okay. I blame him. I blame him. Okay, so what do you guys think? Do you like these watercolors? Do you think I spent way too much money on something? Or, I don't know. What do you think about her? Okay, I took a break. I worked out and I thought about it. And I think I'm gonna put some, like, a black kind of cloud on this side and see how that looks on her, because there's something still off. So I'm gonna try that and see how it looks. I need something to lean on. I just worked out, so everything is still not good to touch. Okay, and then I'm gonna come in from here, and this is all gonna be colored in black. And then this is all gonna be colored in black. And we'll see how that looks. Okay. Now I think I'm a little bit more happy. I touched this side up so that it didn't look as wonky. It still needs, you know, it still needs some stuff, but I think it looks good. I think it looks good. Okay, so there you go. What do you guys think? Starry night, stars. Tap, 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 tap. Okay. Just a little. Okay, we'll get rid of that when it dries. Okay, so I think now I can say I'm done. I like the watercolors. I think they're pretty awesome. I'm gonna have fun with them. I don't know, I'm gonna have to look into if I should just keep them in the tube or put them in pans. And if I put them in pans, I will keep you posted. I'll let you know. All right, well, I want to thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy your weekend in whatever you do. And if you see this after the weekend, I hope your weekend was great. Peace and love.